Omega Radio. And you can lock in by downloading that app. It's Omega Radio in your Google Play or your Apple Play Store. Yes, you can change that dial to 101.9 FM in the Broward County area. Stay tuned, coming your way. It's Creative Space with Catherine Shapiro here on the Station of the Star. So don't touch that dial. Keep it locked and rocking right here on Omega Radio. And one more thing, let's remember, it's Creative Space with Catherine Shapiro.
From all the pain, I'm so ashamed. I am beautiful, beautiful.
Tune in and listen. Creative Space on Omega Radio every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Your host, Catherine Shapiro. Good morning, everybody out there in Omega Radio land. I am so happy to be here this slightly rainy but fabulous Wednesday morning. My name is Catherine Shapiro, and I am the host of Creative Space. And one of our jobs here at Creative Space is to illuminate the darkness, to give solutions, to give renewal, to give love out there to all the artists in the area that we can reach. And I know within the sound of my voice, there is a lot of people. Some of them being in Great Britain, in our Great Britain viewing or in listening area, will know this. Others will not. Did you know Winston Churchill, in his most relaxed hours, was a painter? He was an oil painter and a watercolorist, a darn good one too. And most amazing about that is he did not pick up the habit, and we do call it a habit, until his 40s. He was out looking for something to allay the stresses and the pressure that he was under. And boy, do we all know that feeling. Everybody has a time in their life when they're undergoing stress, undergoing pressure. I'll tell you this, art and making art are one of the best ways to do that. Deal with the kinds of pressure, and even the kinds of pressure that Winston Churchill was undergoing at the time of the Second World War. He once said that a painter would never be lonely because light and hope and joy would accompany him right down to his last days. You can focus on painting and on art in a way that you cannot in other hobbies or even other working lives. It demands full concentration at the time you're doing it, and it demands a whole new way of seeing, a new perspective, and everyone is in need of a new perspective. If you love the arts, if you love painting, if you love and have been blessed by wonderful people like those here at Omega Radio, please do call and let us know. My number here at the station live is 1-900-4310, and that area code locally is 954. Again, that's 954-900-4310. And I'm again your host in the Creative Space. The story about how Mr. Churchill began to paint is interesting. He started with paints he obtained from the nursery, meaning I think in a way he started from a child's viewpoint. Have fun, fail, edit, try. He also said that if you didn't try, you'd be less for the experience, and if you did, even if you fail or don't get the results you want, you'd be better off for the experience and having had that new perspective. That is the most wonderful thing about the gentleman that I have ever heard, in that he was willing to evolve, to change his habits, to acquire new ones, because that was the essence of stretching your mind and relaxing your mind. He was of the opinion that you would not be able to relax your mind if you did not try something totally different. Because a person who worries and works with numbers, even when they're resting, if you call it resting, will still worry and work with numbers. But if he occupies or she occupies herself with a totally different way of being, the mind changes. It literally and provably by science changes itself. It creates new pathways and discards old ones. It makes connections that you would never have made having had the experience or having not had the experience. I have made friends and done things because I became an artist that I would never have imagined. I became a broadcaster, basically, a talk show host in what amounts to a very small way, but feels very big to me. I do hope there are friends out there listening who are having a terrific day and had a wonderful Labor Day weekend. Let's acknowledge those artist workers out there who are working full-time, doing their thing and doing the thing that they love. Again, Mr. Churchill picked up a brush at 40. I picked up a brush slightly later than that. I was 48 years old. It's never too late. And as Picasso always said, it was never too early. You go back to being a child when you paint, when you draw, when you dance, when you create things that are new and beautiful in the world. I have heard that one of the best ways to get started after you've been in a long absence of activity like creative painting or something like that is to copy an artist. So I actually have copied one of his paintings. One of these days I will definitely show them to you, and as it comes on YouTube I'll put it in the comment section. Copying an artist sometimes can be the best way to get started because you solve their problems. You figure out what the issues are and you solve them on your own in real time, your way. And in a sense, what you do is you come up with a totally new style, which ends up being yours. I have been told that the best way to begin, if you're afraid of the empty canvas, is to just grab a brush and splotch. That's exactly what happened to Mr. Churchill. He had gotten his young nursery painter's materials, took them out front of the house, and was staring at an empty canvas with a little bit of trepidation, as we all do, when a very good friend of his, with a later appointment, drove up and says, "Wow, I didn't know you painted. Let me try." Picked up the brush, splotch, 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 done. Cured the fears, got him going, and ended what amounted to an almost 40-year career in the off hours of painting some amazing work, which at the time we visited London and I found his book, was on display in the War Room in London. Let's take a look at the War Room for just a minute. In the quarters that were designed during the Blitz so that the War Cabinet could meet and make decisions involving all kinds of things, in the middle of downtown London, there was an easel and there was a painter and there was a person making art and making the world a more beautiful place. If you've ever been to London in the War Room, and I know there's some out there that have, it is an almost claustrophobic experience. You go down into the underground where they used part of the underground to create quarters for the cabinet and for Mr. Churchill, who, by the way, was encouraged to leave London and never did, you get a sense of what painting under difficult circumstances must have been like. And I am amazed at the ability of painters and artists to exist under hugely tough circumstances. I know artists in Lebanon. I know artists, like I said, who've made paint and art during the Second World War. I knew a lady who survived the Blitz as a 9-year-old and painted out all her fears, all her experiences through that lens of making a positive out of a negative. You know, I always add, when you say reduce, reuse, recycle, I say renew and replenish, and art does that. It gives you the capacity to refill that deep well of experience that you need to survive and live and thrive in a world that is not always spiritual, not always kind, not always good. And it makes you a human being in a world that is not always fit for humans. And I have met quite a few humans here at Omega Radio, and I always love to give a shout out to our engineers and wonderful staff. Minister Aparna is fabulous. I love her. She makes me look good no matter what happens. I am your host with the most here every Wednesday at 11 a.m. My name is Catherine Shapiro. I'm a longtime resident of Broward County and a very proud sponsor of Omega Radio. If you love Omega Radio, you want to support Omega Radio. You are planting a seed that renews a wonderful place, good people, and great messages from a lot of terrific hosts that are a lot more experienced than I. But I can tell you this has been a fabulous experience for me, and I hope Omega Radio has been a great experience for you. If you would like to call, if you would like to comment, if you would like to get in touch on social media, please do. I am on all the usual social media programs and platforms, and so is Omega Radio. You can see previous episodes of this show on YouTube, and I always pin them on Pinterest and Instagram as well. So you will get a wonderful library of great broadcasts, including those that I have done with my good friend Gabriela Esquivel, host of Arts in Motion. We collaborate with a ton of wonderfully talented musicians all over the world. Costa Rica, Guatemala, Colombia, Mexico, everywhere on the planet. We've been there, or it's on our list. If you are a musician who'd like to share music with us, you are always welcome at Omega Radio. If you need a recording studio, we're here. We're here too. We do recordings of all kinds of things, including ebooks, and we have a wonderful event space that you can use for an incredible number of purposes. Just give us a call. If you'd like to get in touch on my webpage for further information, what you need to do is go to www.catscreationsart.com. Cats Creations is a mixed media website with all my latest watercolors, collage-based art, and original mosaics that I also do. My passion is bringing things together, bringing people together, and creating whole new projects. That's how I got in touch with Gabriela. That's how I love Winston Churchill, because even in his darker moments, he could bring people together in ways that we can't even imagine today, I think. I am looking at painting as a pastime. If you want to check out the history of Winston Churchill and painting, you can do that. It's published still today, and you can get it on Amazon. Very nice little book. I actually bought it while I was in the war room in London, which is a pleasure and an experience. So in the meantime, well, I'm coming back to the good old US of A and looking for you to join me every Wednesday, 11 a.m. on Omega Radio in the creative space. See you next week, and in the meantime, go ahead, try it, be kind to each other. It works, and take care.
So ashamed. I am beautiful, beautiful.
Tune in and listen. Creative Space on Omega Radio every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Your host, Catherine Shapiro.
Want to thank you for tuning in to Creative Space with your host, Catherine Shapiro, here on Omega Radio. You can catch Catherine Shapiro here on Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Keep it locked in, coming your way. It's Lady Marian keeping your company right here on this beautiful, beautiful early afternoon here on the Station of the Stars. Don't forget to download that app. It's Omega Radio.
Stumble, but when I fall,